I want to start today with a question. And that is, what's something that is both easy and made you proud that you have done? So take a moment, think it over, and pause the video if you have to. But if you're like me, you might have a hard time answering this question. And then I want you to go ahead and ask yourself the same question, but now think of things that are difficult. So what's something that you are very proud of that you've done that was challenging? Now, again, if you're like me, this might be a bit easier. And this is pointing to exactly what I want to talk about today. And that's that a lot of the things in our life, in our career, that are really worth doing are challenging, are difficult. And even though we have this default notion of trying to seek out an easy career, an easy life, we want a lot of comfort. That's actually kind of counterintuitive to achieving the things in life that we want to achieve. So what I want to talk about is how this applies in the creative world. As working creative professionals, what lessons can we take from the fact that the difficult things seem to lead us in the directions we want to go? A lot of people don't want to do the hard work. And that could be putting in the time to get really good at a certain style. That could be creating a massive project. But what you'll find is that people tend to default to paths they know are going to be easy, that are going to work. That could be a particular design style that you might see a lot of. And it's important to know that there's a big opportunity in differentiating yourself from other people in doing the things that people are not willing to do. So something that I hear a lot of in the design industry is looking at designers who charge very little as harmful to the industry. And this is pretty much like, I'll do a logo for $50. And then a lot of people get mad because, now everybody's going to think that logos are worth $50. And now I have to compete at that price. But wouldn't it be so much better if you could position yourself in a way that you don't have to compete on price, that what you do is so your own because there is a much higher barrier to do it, that you can really just charge whatever it is you want to charge? You look at some of the very, popular designers or artists, and more or less they get to charge what they want. And that's because people aren't just seeking out this thing that everyone can do. They're seeking out this very specific thing that only that one person can do. And the reason that that's the only person who can do it is because they have put in the hard work to get to a place where they're the only one that can do it. So I've spoken to a lot of people in the past about teaching on Skillshare. A lot of people see what I'm doing on there and they're like, oh, that looks really great. I tell them a bit about, that there is money to be made there and that gets really exciting. And like 99% of the people that show an interest, they don't do it. And part of that is because it's hard. It takes a lot of work, sometimes months, to create a class. It's intimidating to record yourself like I'm doing now. And you really have to confront a lot of just feelings of being like an imposter. It is far easier to get a job doing something that's safe and comfortable than doing this sort of stuff. But what that means is that for the people that do put the work in, they have already shed so much competition. And that doesn't just go for Skillshare. This goes for illustration, for design, for animation. If you are really, really, really good at what you do, and what you do is something that not many other people do or are willing to do, then it's like bye-bye competition. Like you become known for this thing. And yeah. So before I got into all the stuff that I do today, the classes, these kinds of videos, freelance illustration, before I did any of that, I was a contract web designer. I would go from one agency to the next, spend a couple weeks or a couple months there, and do like web design and development work. It paid very well. It was easy. and it gave me a lot of free time to do things like travel. So it was more or less a pretty good gig. At one point, I was like, oh, if I continue to do this for the rest of my life, I'll be set. But there's a reason that I'm not doing it today. And that's because I really had to confront that I got into design so that I can make great work about things that I care about. And I wasn't doing any of that. It was simple work about stuff that was, whatever to me. So I had to go through a very difficult path of figuring out how to make a career out of this thing that I really wanted to. And I'm still going through it. Today, my career is a lot more difficult than it used to be. But I am a lot happier. I'm a lot more satisfied. I take pride in what I do. And something I've noticed too is that the work that I make today resonates with people so much more than the stuff that I did before. And so this to me is evidence that the difficult route is the best route. I didn't want to record this today. I've done a lot of recording this week and preparing one of my classes. And to be honest, this is just kind of intimidating. And that being said, I'm still here doing it because I know that this is the path to not only the career that I want, but also to being the person that I want to be. I want to be able to freely share myself with people in a way that's going to make a difference. And I know in order to do that, I have to have a lot of difficult conversations with people. I have to put myself out there like I am now. And so this is a step in the direction that I want to go. And it's because this is challenging that I know that this is a step in the direction that I should be taking. If I spend a week just doodling in my sketchbook, and then I spend 1 3-hour session doing something like life drawing, I get a lot more improvement as an artist from the life drawing. And that's because it scares me and it's hard and it really forces me to do things that I'm not comfortable doing. Doodling in my sketchbook, I'll just draw hamburgers all day and I'll stay the exact same level I'm at and I'll just have a nice good time. But if the commitment that I have is to get better, then it's the challenging stuff that I have to seek out. So I just want to recognize that it is very attractive to just seek out an easy, comfortable life. And you can do it, and that's fine. But if you're someone who wants to have a really great, thriving career, a very, interesting, adventurous life, then you're going to have to pursue some tough stuff. And I think that's a really good diagnostic for seeing whether or not you're on the right path. Is the work you're creating too easy? Is your job not challenging you? Do you find that you're just doing a lot of little tasks to stay busy where there could be 1 or 2 really big tasks that completely change things for you? These are really good questions to ask. And I just want to close by saying that there is a connection between your low points and your high points. And the lower your low points get, typically the higher your high points get, which means that you're going to have to go through some stuff if you really want to have that great, thriving, exceptional experience of being alive and having your career. So I really encourage you to just challenge yourself, as I think it really is the best route to becoming who you want to be and to be doing the work that you want to do. So as always, I hope that this has been useful, and have a good week.